Good afternoon, everyone. So please stand up for the prayer. Kindly lead the prayer, Mr. Tampos.
Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And not bring us into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Thank the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
So good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Miss Fire and Miss Zapata.
Take your seat.
Thank you so much.
So, before we start our discussion for today, let's have an energizer first. Let me group you into 3. So, counting start from here.
1, 2, 3.
3 pala. 3.
1, 2, 2.
So, group 1, group 2, group 3. Please form a line. 1, 2, 3. Backward lang. Kamay. Backward lang. Kamay ang chair. Pag-choose mo, usa ka secretary.
Secretary, Figan, IB.
Faster. Mag-form, mag-line. 1, 2, 3. Faster, everyone. Ano yung last number? 3 ka, Rebecca. 3 Charity, 1 si Rebecca. Sige, kayo na, double time, everyone. Wala pa share ba? Okay, group 1 here. Group 1. Group 2. And group 3. Hindi na siya mag-drive. So, drill everyone. So, we will be flashing some pictures here. Some scrabbled words. Dapat inyo siya tag-anon. Ang unang makatag-an, muduol dire. Yan, makagain siya og 1 point. Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. Tabangan na ito sila. Siya ra ang musuwat sa entire nga pagkagawa. So we will be flashing pictures of words na inyo siyang i-assemble. Ang unang makadaog dire mo ay nakagain of point. Dili, line runner, usa. Sige, ready? Ready? Ready na? Runner ninyo. Uy, ang runner, ano lang? Nagtuko mo. Dapat na runner.
Dapat ang runner. Napali yun.
Sige. First picture. So the word is wrong. The word is wrong. Group 2, 1 point. Next. Okay, mag-change siya. So next.
Okay, ako mga runner.
Ano na? So thank you everyone for participating. So based on the words you have encountered earlier, what do you think is our topic for today? Rocks. Yes. Rocks. Our topic is all about rocks. So the objective is at the end of the discussion, the students will be able to define rocks, explain processes involved in the rock cycle, name the three types of rocks and provide an example of each through oral recitation and elaborate on how each type of rock is formed. So, let's start. So the earth contains many kinds of rocks, no? Each made of one or more minerals. So the earth is made up of various types of rocks, no, which are composed of one or more minerals. Because as we all know, minerals is a naturally occurring substances with definite chemical composition. So these elements are composed of 8 abundant elements found on Earth. These are the oxygen, silicon, aluminum, iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So these elements combine to create minerals that are the building blocks of rocks. So the scientists study rocks and their minerals is called the petrologist, and they classified rocks into 3 main types. So there are 3 main types of rocks. So the first one, mga types of rocks, the igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and the metamorphic rocks. So familiar mo? So what is igneous rock? So igneous rock is formed from magma. So magma kanana pa siya sa underneath sa volcano. And mahimo siyang lava if mo abot na siya sa surface. So magma is hot, liquid rock, and dissolved gases where it is found deep in the lower part of the Earth's crust and in the upper part of the mantle. When magma cools and hardens, so it forms the igneous rock. So also the igneous rock is also referred to as the fire-formed rocks because they are formed from cooled and solidified magma or lava. The next type is the sedimentary rocks. So sediments are small pieces of rocks that have been broken down by physical or chemical means. So these sediments are pressed and cemented together, forming the sedimentary rocks. So these rocks are also formed from plants and remains. So for example, ato sa phosphorus cycle nga akong i-discuss last meeting, like di ba, mo siya weathering. And ang weathering is i-break down niya ang mga rocks into smaller particles and maabot siya sa mga bodies of water. And katong mga particles will eventually become sediments. So magkuan siya, magtipon sila sa ocean floor, and katong sediments will eventually become sedimentary rock. No, they will be pressed and cemented together to form the sedimentary rock. The last type is the metamorphic rocks. So metamorphic rocks are formed as a result of changes that occur in already existing rocks. Now, high temperatures and pressure change already existing rocks into new rocks, and these new rocks are called the metamorphic rocks. So for example, ang igneous mahimo siyang sedimentary, ang sedimentary is mahimo siyang metamorphic, or igneous rock mahimo siyang sedimentary. Now, they will undergo metamorphism. So we will tackle metamorphism later on. So muna siya mga 3 types of rocks, the igneous, sedimentary, and the metamorphic rocks. So have you ever wondered why is there transformation or changes of rocks? So yes, kung nag-wonder kita, anong naman yung mga different kinds of rocks, anong mausap ng ang igneous, mahimo mo siya sedimentary, is mahimo siya nga metamorphic. So this process is caused by the rock cycle. So rock cycle is the continuous changing of rocks from one kind to another, So this transformation happens through various geological processes wherein factors like heat, weathering, erosion, cooling, and melting. So the rock cycle diagram illustrates how rocks transforms from one type to another through various geological process. So this is the rock cycle diagram. So, di mo siya klaro, arita, dire. So, as you can see, mag-start with ang rock cycle sa igneous rock. So, dili may tabo nga, mag-start siya daan sa sedimentary. Kaya magi mo siya og igneous rock pa. Kasamayin mo siya nga sedimentary and mahimo siyang metamorphic. So, we will tackle each type of rock. We will tackle each type of rock separately. So, first, let's tackle the igneous rocks. So there are two major types of igneous rocks. Now, these types are based where the magma cools and hardens to form the rocks. So there are two types of rocks. These are the plutonic rocks or the intrusive rocks. So intrusive meaning nasa sulod. And the volcanic rocks or the extrusive rocks meaning nasa sa gawas. So the plutonic rocks or the intrusive rocks form deep within the earth where magma cools and hardens. So, kani siya kani plutonic rocks is ato ni siya may tabo sa ilam sa volcano. Kay magma man siya, so ilam. So kani siya kay if mo cool ang magma, so di ba? Na may uban magma nga dili siya mahurot og gawa sa volcano na mahurot og eject. So mahabilin ang ubang magma sa ilang. So katong magma is mo cool siya and mo harden siya slowly. So makakuan siya o makaproduce siya og larger nga mga crystals. But di ba if taas ilang process is makaproduce sila mga larger nga crystals. Pero if slow if rapid, dili kay siya makaproduce og mga larger nga crystals. So mamana siya sa mga plutonic rocks. No, sa deep within the Earth's surface siya mahitabo. Next one is the volcanic rocks or the extrusive rocks formed when magma reach the Earth's surface as lava, which cools and solidifies. So once na na-expose ni siya, the magma nga atong tawag, mahimo na siyang lava and it cools and solidifies quickly. So solidifies, mahimo siyang dali ka siyang mahimo ang liquid, mahimo siya quickly nga solid. So with rapid cooling results, there will be ang uban is walay ma-form nga crystals or ang uban gamay ra nga crystal ang ma-form. Is that clear? So now, let's have the formation of igneous rocks. So nga naman yung ma-form ang igneous rocks? Unsa may rason nga nang ma-form ang igneous rocks? So igneous rocks form when minerals within magma crystallize, turning the liquid magma into solid rock. So when we say crystallization, when magma cools either underground or on surface and harden. So the igneous rock are formed through crystallization, so as I said earlier, and the magma cools, the minerals within it begin to solidify, turning the liquid magma into solid rock. So inigbuto na sa volcano, mo release man na ang magma. So with rapid cooling, katong liquid nga lava, ma-form na siya into rock. So kanang rock ma-form na siya ang mga igneous rock. And the texture and chemical composition of rocks are defined by the crystallization process, with mineral crystallizing at different times. So it depends on the factor such as the cooling rate. So here, so the size of the crystals in an igneous rock depends on the cooling rate. So as I said earlier, slower cooling, it produces larger crystals. The faster cooling, it forms, makaform na siya mga smaller crystals. So ang mga crystals na ang mga rock na makaproduce of larger crystals, ang tawag nila kay coarse grained rocks. So rocks na makaproduce, igneous rocks na makaproduce of large crystals, na ang mga rocks na makaproduce of gamay na crystals, kay tawag nila is fine grained rocks. And also there are some cases paspas kay gani ang pag-cool sa lava, mahitaguan na niya kay walay crystal na ma-form, resulting in a smooth glass-like texture. So mana siya ang mga obsidian rock. So dara ang image. So as you can see, glass siya, wala siya crystal na na-form. Since dali kay ang pag-cool sa lava, so walay time na makaproduce siya o crystals. So, but, ang kaning obsidian is type na kumi siya sa fine-grained rocks. Ako lang siyang specify, basin mo ano ba nga, nganong ang uban kay, ano nga, ay, ang fine kay, kung ano naman siya, kanang naman siya small crystal, wala man niya ang reporter nga, nakaproduce na, wala niya ang reporter nga, ang fine-grained is wala siya, naisahan nga, wala crystal na ma-form. So, na siya, crystal nga ma-form, ay wala na uban niya, na ay gamay, crystal nga ma-form niya, uban po, kay na ay, kaya ang uban po is wala crystal na ma-form. So, muna siya ang mga obsidian rocks. So, again ha, part ka sa fine-grained rocks ang obsidian. So, ang two-main formation grid ay, ang two-main classification grid ay ang coarse-grained rocks o ang fine-grained rocks. Tara guys, class. Okay, siya. Next, let's have the classification of rocks. So igneous rocks are classified based on the crystal size and mineral composition. So there are over 1,500 names used to classify igneous rocks. So through the efforts of the petrologists, they simplify the system. So ako nanginganihan there are two classifications, the coarse-grained igneous rock and the fine-grained igneous rock. So here, let's tackle first the coarse-grained igneous rock. So the most common coarse-grained igneous rock is granite. So granite is made mostly of quartz and feldspar, so mga light-colored minerals, though it may contain darker minerals like mica and hornblende. So as you can see here, diba na mga light, so mostly quartz and feldspar din ang iyang nagkuhaan niya. But may uban, natin yung mga dark gray. So, muna siya ang mica and hornblende na nagkuhaan sa granite. Follow that, everyone? Okay, let's proceed. And also, there are some mga, kani siya mga rocks is, dili siya as in common, just like sa granite. But ako na siyang i-introduce niya para makahibabon nyo nga napoy lain ng mga coarse-grained igneous rock, except sa granite. Kaya mas most common na ng granite, kani siya, kadili siya mga common yung mga coarse-grained igneous rocks. Kani diorite made up of feldspar, gabbro, a dark coarse-grained rock without quartz, and a peridotite, a rare coarse-grained rock made up of dark minerals like peroxide and olivine. So, ano siya? Ang diorite, and kani kay gabbro, and kani kay peridotite. Ano siya? Ang mga image sa kanila. So, the next one, kani sila di ay kay, kani sila mga plutonic, meaning nasa solid. Mga plutonic na sila. The next one is fine-grained igneous rock. So, basalt, no, common kayo dyan ang mga basalt. Ano yung sag-asa ninyo nga? Sag-asa mo punta. So, basalts are very small mineral grains, often invisible to the naked eye, that has the same mineral composition as gabbro, found beneath ocean floors in the volcanic islands like Hawaii, Japan, and the Philippines. So, daghan o basalt ang Philippines is nakantay mga baghang volcan. No, naman sa dapit sa Pacific Ring of Fire. Also, naapoy so, kanipot sila kay kaniyang mga fine-grained igneous rocks kay mga character sila mga sometimes ang uban nga fine-grained igneous rocks form so quickly that gas trapped in them. So there are two types, the scoria and pumice. So scoria, similar siya sa basalt, but 50% sa scoria kay puro siya mga holes. So siya magkaroon doon. Daghanig holes ang scoria. So 50% niya kay nagpampo siya o mga holes. Next one is pumice, a natural glass with many holes, cools so quickly that no visible crystal form. Now, pumice is often so light that it floats in water. So, muna siya. Daghan po siyang holes, but mas gaan siya compared sa scoria. Kaya mo-float ron niya ang pumice isang sa tubig. Ang panistorya kay mo, hindi siya mo-float. So, kaning mga fine-grained rocks, kay nano siya sa volcanic rock nasa gawa. So, intrusive. So, extrusive rather. So, ang coarse grain kay intrusive, na ang fine grain kay extrusive. So, now let's have the formation, ay igneous rock formation. So, kani siya, kay, ako na siya i-introduce ninyo, since para na kay babot nung napoy mga formation sa igneous rock na makitaan sa bisag asa nga ato makitaan sa bisag asa nga lugar sa kalibutan. So when magma hardens under the Earth's crust, it forms regular bodies of plutonic rocks. So plutonic means intrusive. So these formations are classified by size, shape, and relation to surrounding rocks. So for example, here, laccolith, a formation where magma pushes between layers of sedimentary rocks and causes the overlying rocks to form an arc shape. The floor of the laccolith is flat and parallel to the layer of rock it rests on. So for example, it's the Henry Mountains in USA. So this is kanin siya nga Henry Mountains in USA kay iyang formation is laccolith ni siya ma-igneous rock. Orange na may pagka-red ang iyang forma. The next one is the seal, a table-like body of igneous rock formed when magma pushes between layers of sedimentary rock but does not cause the overlying rocks to arc. So the example is the Palisades Seal along the Hudson River in New York and New Jersey. So ano siya ang image sa Palisades Seal. Next one is dike. The dike, a narrow table-like body of igneous rock formed when magma passed through the hardens across the other rock layers. So dikes are often vertical and can be found cutting through existing rock formations. So hani siya ang dike. Hani siya ang magma nga nag-cut through the rock layers. Hani siya ang dike. The next one is the batholith, a large plutonic rock formation with an exposed surface area over 100 square kilometers, estimated to extend 10 to 30 kilometers into the Earth's crust. The thickness of batholiths is unknown because batholiths increase in the thickness as they go deeper to the Earth's crust. So, plutonic, ganyan sa kita ang plutonic class? Intrusive. So, kaning batholith is ma-form siya deep within the Earth's crust. So, paano siya ma-extend na siya isang plate surface na ma-extend siya up to 10 to 30 kilometers sa Earth's crust. Ano siya ang image. Dako kani siya. But same sa batholith, which is the stock, na smaller plutonic rock formation similar to batholith. Same siya sa batholith, but mas gamay siya compared sa batholith. So mas dako ang batholith compared sa stock. And the next one is the lava plateaus. When lava spreads out over large areas, it can form a plateau. So for example, Columbia Plateau in the United States, which covers parts of Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. So ano siya. So spread out sa lava, maka-form sa plateau. So ano siya ang naporma ang Columbia Plateau. Ano siya ang mga igneous rock formation. But if ma-search mo sa uban, naalo po yung mga daghan ng mga igneous rock formation, but kanira siya mong ipakita ninyo. So that's it for the igneous rock. So here, igneous rock, na-form na ang igneous rock. So katong sa example, ang volcano is ni-erupt na siya. So nag-release na siya og lava. So na-form na mga rocks nga na-form. Ang uban ana katong magma deep kay atong mga wala siya ni gawas. So wala siya sa ubos. So because of high pressure and temperature, they will undergo metamorphism. So mahimo siyang metamorphic rocks. But ang uban atong nahimong lava, kay mahimo silang rock and they will undergo weathering. And because of some weathering, i-break nila ang mga rocks into smaller particles. So ato siya, because of erosion or runoff, ma-wash away siya level from the mountain, mapunta siya sa mga bodies of water. And eventually, they will become sediments. So katong mga sediments, they will be buried, compacted, and changed into a rock, which is the sedimentary rock. So to discuss what is the sedimentary rock, let me give you to Ms. Zapata.
Okay, so good afternoon everyone. Let's proceed to the sedimentary rocks. So 75% of the rocks on Earth's surface are sedimentary. Sediments like mud, sand, and gravel make up these rocks. So from what we can see in the picture, muds are tiny fragments of clay and minerals, while sand are larger grains of quartz and other minerals, which is a bit bigger siya mud, and then into the gravel, even larger pieces of broken rocks. Some sediments come from animals with shells that die and become part of the ocean floor. So diha na to ang kaning sediments. No, so sediments can also form when water evaporates, leaving behind mineral deposits. So naroon tayo example ana. So atara siyang i-mention sa atara na dig deeper later. So next is the transport of sediments. So sediments are moved by wind and water. Water and wind push or roll sand and gravel, while mud is suspended in water and carried away. So in order to kanang ma-transport sand and gravel, mag-need jud ka og water and wind. Then for mud is only kanang water. And the speed of wind and water affects the size of the particles they can move. For the fast-moving water, we can move larger particles like boulders. For example, kanang flood no, kanang usog na kayo nga baka makamove jud siya og dagko nga mga boulders. While slow-moving water can only move smaller grains. Next is the deposits. So fast-moving rivers and storms like hurricanes move sand and gravel, while mountain streams often leave gravel deposits when they slow down. So meaning ana, through the fast-moving rivers and storms like hurricanes, ang ilahang ma-move is ilahang nga kanang mahatag dito nga place is ang kanang sand and gravel ilahang madala. While sediments carried into lakes and oceans slowly settle at the bottom. The smallest grains, like for example clay, take the longest to settle and can remain suspended in still water. So why does it take the smallest grains, or for example the clay, kanang take longest to settle? It's because ang clay tightly packed together, leaving little room for water na mo sulod. So that's why hinay ra ang iyang pagsettle adto sa ocean floor. Next is the fossils in sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary rocks often contain fossils, which are preserved remains of past plant or animal life. So for example, bones, shells, or impressions. Then, fossils are common in sedimentary rocks because they are formed in layers that can trap and preserve organisms, unlike igneous and metamorphic rocks. So, a situation like for example, mag-imagine mo of white lake. So, over time, leaves and twig and even tiny creatures like insects might fall into the water and sink to the bottom. Then as more and more sediments pile up on top, it slowly compresses the remains of these organisms. So that is why naadyoy fossils ang sedimentary rocks kay kanang naman siya yung mga layers ba, like for example sediments dire, then maabot na po ang mud and sand, then lain na po. So muna ang formation sa nganong naay fossils ang sedimentary rocks. Then sedimentary rocks form layers of stratas as sediments are deposited over time. These layers are compacted and cemented to form rock. So, duha ka buok process mo undergo sa sedimentary rocks, which we have compaction and cementation. For compaction, pressure changes the lower sediments into rocks, and cementation, minerals dissolved in water bind the sediments together. So, mura siya, for example, kaning nga picture. Di kayo maklaro. So, diri first, kita mo sa, karo mo nga, kanang wag-wag ka na pagin siya spaces. So, the first stage involves the accumulation of sedimentary particles such as sand, clay, and other materials, and the sedimentation can occur in a variety of environments, including oceans, lakes, rivers, and deserts. So, over time, these sediments can build up to form layers of sedimentary rock. So, after ana is mo undergo mo ano na po sa compaction, which is the second stage that involves the compression of sedimentary particles by the weight of the overlying material. So, naman subos ang sediments to. So, kanang decompress na siya maayo ba? So, as we can see here, gamay na lang tayo siya spaces. Pero naman yun siya gamay. And as more sediments accumulates, the weight of the material above it, naman dyan na siya wondering kanang layers pa sa kanang soil lari. So, magduot, paghapon na siya, sumupress na siya kung maayo. So, after ana is cementation, which is the third stage that involves precipitation of mineral material into the pore spaces between the sedimentary particles. So, mo i-fill up na niya ang spaces sa katong compact na mga sediments. So these are the most common minerals that precipitate in the pore spaces include calcite, silica, and iron oxide. Now, after the process of the sediment, how the formation of sedimentary rocks is, let's proceed to the types of sedimentary rocks. So we have fragmental rocks, organic rocks, and chemical rocks. So first, let's have the fragmental rocks. So fragmental rocks are made from broken pieces or fragments of other rocks, and it is classified by particle sizes. Kanina pictures, maklaro na siya dili. So na siya yung mga itong diri gamay na nato ilang diri na lain siya color molded into one stone. So that is the meaning of fragmental. Like fragments na yun siya sa water, sa rock nga na molded into one. So it is classified by particle size. So first we have the conglomerates, which is made from large rock pieces mixed with mud and sand, formed where rivers flow down or waves break apart rocks. As you can see, nakita na siya dali, nagpo kay siya o kanang mga rocks, no? So muna siya ang usa ka kanang classification sa sedimentary na dagko iyahang rocks nga na form. Sandstones. So formed from sand on the beaches, river beds, and sand dunes. Mostly made of quartz and other small particles. So sa sandstone, gagmay na jud kayo siya. Kasi na jud pwedeng gagmaya. Tatat na lang ito makita diri. For shales and mudstones formed from small particles of clay minerals, shale has a coarser texture than mudstone and can be split easily into flat pieces. Kani, mo ni siya ang shale. Tumatay mo ang mga nga, kung flaky na dyan gani kayo ba, nga, like, ana na siya kung like, kanang, flaky siya, mura siya, thin siya, pero mura, mas di-flake siya, and mas kita siya, ano din yung mga places. Well, mudstone is not flaky, di siya flaky, but naga po siya layers na makita natin. For the next one we have is the organic rocks. So organic rocks are formed from materials that was once living. So malunat ani, for example, is limestone. So made of calcium carbonate, often from shells of marine animals like clams and oysters. So dili rin po na siya makita sa sediments. Undergo and very siya, very compact and change into rock, which is mahimo siya limestone. We also have another one which is chalk. a soft form of limestone made from small animal shells and calcium carbonate crystals. Una siya mas putik siya kaysa sa and then the coal is formed from decaying plants materials primarily burns in swampy areas. Over time, pressure converts the layers into coal. So, ano? Itong siya ang itong tayo ang coal is because swampy areas din siya kasagaran na form niya. Ang sa ilang sa color sa ilang sa swamps. Black or blue? Blue. Black oy. Black or blue. Next is chemical rocks. So chemical rocks are formed by chemical processes that do not involve living organisms. So dili na to ma-mention ang kato ganing sedimentary rocks na won't evaporate. So, for example, evaporites. It forms when water evaporates and leaves behind minerals like rock salt and gypsum. Common in areas with no outlet for water such as the Great Salt Lake. So the Great Salt Lake is the largest saltwater lake and is unique among lakes in the Western Hemisphere because of its size. Dako jud na kay siya, mura na siya ang second largest nga salt lake. And then, it is also a wildlife refuge, attracting wildlife, millions of migratory birds every year. So, let's go back to the rock cycle. So, next is we have the formation of sedimentary rocks. So, sediments settle in the low-lying areas like riverbeds, lakes, and ocean floors where they are deposited in layers. Sediments. And then over time, the layers are compacted or pressed together and cemented, or minerals bind the particles to form sedimentary rocks like sandstones or limestones. At it compacted, mo na siya o sedimentary rocks. Yeah. How does sedimentary rock go back to the surface? Through it is through plate tectonic movement such as katong subduction, which is kanang mag-abot ang duha ka plate tectonic, but ang less dense is ato sa babaw, ang denser nasa ubos. Pwede po siya collision, yung masakar yan po siya dito sa babaw. Mag-abot na ba, masakar yan po ang sedimentary rocks. So, the next one is we have the metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks. So these are rocks that have been changed from one type of rock into another due to heat, pressure, and chemical activity. Wala gitili ang metamorphic rocks, mapa-igneous man na siya or sedimentary, ma-change kapon siya. So what is the formation of metamorphic rocks? So it can form from igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, or other metamorphic rocks. It is formed when already existing rocks are buried deep within the earth, where high temperatures and tremendous pressure cause them to change into new materials with different textures and structures. Dili ra pod ang heat, ang temperature ug ang pressure naka-affect ani, but also chemical solutions. Like, the chemical solutions that is released by cooling magma also act on surrounding rocks, producing changes on the rocks. So what are the temperature range for metamorphic rock formation? So first is we have below 100 degrees Celsius, minerals do not change. Wala pa yung hitabo anak. So, temperature of 100 degrees Celsius to 200 degrees Celsius, nagsugod na ang formation of metamorphic rocks. For the 600 degrees Celsius to 800 degrees Celsius, ni-continue paghapon ang formation sa rocks, but ni-stop sa 800 degrees Celsius. Between 100 degrees Celsius and 800 degrees Celsius, heat makes minerals soft enough for molecules to move and rearrange, forming denser minerals due to pressure. So inana form sa metamorphic rock. So above 800 degrees Celsius, minerals melt and forms magma. Now let's proceed to the factors affecting metamorphism. So first is we have heat, pressure, and chemical activity. It is varying amounts can result in different degrees of metamorphism. And the degree of change is slight changes. Original rocks can still be identified. Maklaro pa siya, ma-identify pa nimo siya, kay gamay raman ang na-change, kinahitabo. For great changes, difficult to identify the original rocks. Maglisod na siya. So for the rock characteristics, fine-grained rocks are more easily changed than coarse-grained rocks. It is because fine-grained rocks are gagmay ra. Dili ka mag-need og too much heat ana para i-change ang fine-grained rocks. Fine-grained rocks kaysa sa kanang coarse nga grained rock, which is katong dagko na siya nga mga rocks. Now karon mag-types of metamorphism na punta, we have contact metamorphism and regional metamorphism. So what is contact metamorphism? It occurs along the edges of igneous rock formation. Magma manidiri sa magma chamber. But then diri volcano, nanay ni Isaka. Naara na diri ang katong na-form nga mga igneous rock. Diri mahitabo ang contact metamorphism. So rocks are changed by heat and chemical solutions released by magma. It can also occur in Earth's surface when lava flows over existing rocks. So divergent plate boundaries occur when two tectonic plates move away from each other. Muna siya, move siya, musaka ang magma. O siya kanimo, reaction siya. And then, for the, for the regional metamorphism, it occurs over large areas where and rocks buried deep beneath Earth's surface are changed by increases in temperature or increasing in temperature and pressure. So, regional metamorphism occurs over large areas where tectonic plates converge through subduction and collision, and both extreme heat and pressure recrystallize the rocks. So in subduction zones, heat from the rising magma and volcanoes as well as pressure change the rock. Here. Subduction man sa diri no. So init man yung diri dapita. So once nga mo subduct siya, di ba na may upan no, ubos na ganing init na. So once nga ang rocks maabot yung dapita, ma-change gihapon siya into metamorphic rock kay init man dito niya. Ang pressure is kanang high ang pressure dito. And then in collision, we don't have volcanoes, but there is extreme pressure deep in the lithosphere when it is closer to the mantle and therefore hotter. So heat can play a role if it's deep and closer to the mantle. So same nagyapon siya in collision nga ang heat kay maka-change gyapon siya, same with pressure. So asa man mahitabo ang regional and contact metamorphism. This is the contact metamorphism and regional metamorphism. Not just the ubos, it does not make contact with magma, while contact metamorphism na siya contact with magma, which is maka-change siya into metamorphic rocks. So here are kanang rocks nga we have an example of shale, which is a low grade niya. As it goes niya, increasing temperature man diri no. So if muagi siya diri maka-increase man jud. So if ang shale mahimo siyang slate, if mo encounter na po og lain nga pag high temperature mo bali na po siya schist niya. If wala po siya og lain, mahimo na po siyang nis niya. After na kay mahimo na siyang may matay. But if ay ka diri increasing pressure lang, ang shale mahimo siyang blue schist. Oh, shale the slate to blue. So with increasing pressure and heat, maka-change siya into that. So for the textures of metamorphisms, we have foliated texture and unfoliated texture. Foliated textures are characterized by bands of crystals. It is rocks with foliated textures break along these bands in layers. Mati mo sa rocks na siya layer no? Through anang ini-break ana di harap na sila mo break dili kay ini-break pa na ay siya dili mga layers na anak pa. So an example would be slate, a fine-grained foliated metamorphic rocks. The uses of it is flagstones for paths, historically used for blackboards. Another example is schist. Schist is a medium to coarse-grained foliated metamorphic rock. The characteristics of it is visible overlapping minerals. Mica is commonly found, or mica is commonly found. Layers gihapon siya, as you can see. And it can form from granite, basalt, or mudstones. For gneiss is a coarse-grained rock, tampo na siya, formed through regional metamorphism. The characteristics of it is alternating bands of dark and light minerals. Kamantay mo na light din kapita, then dark po siya. Then it is used for paving and building stones. For the unfoliated textures, we have rocks with unfoliated textures do not have bands or crystals and do not break in layers. So ganina na layers, to ganina nga maka-break siya. Adto ra gyud siya nga layers. While kanina rock unfoliated textures do not break in layers and they do not have bands of crystals. For example of it would be quartzite. It is formed from sandstone, mostly quartz. And during metamorphism, quartz grains change in size and shape. Pero gagmay ra kayo siya sa picture, gagmay kayo siya o kanang particles. And kanang quartzite, mahimo po na siyang marble if there is too much heat and pressure. So marble is formed from limestone. Characteristics of it is limestone grains change in size and shape during metamorphism, ma-change siya, and it is used for decorative purposes. Now let's move on to the rock cycle. So here, magkuha po tayo melting and returning to magma. So rocks buried deep within the Earth's crust are subjected to extreme temperatures, causing them to melt into magma. This molten material can eventually rise and restart the cycle by cooling to form new igneous rocks. Coming metamorphic rocks, undergo high pressures and temperature, cause this rock to melt. Once it melts, melted rock cools and hardens underground or as lava, balik siya as igneous rock. Balik, pwede makalas siya. And as igneous rock, if igneous rocks din maka-experience of high pressures and temperature, mahimo siya metamorphic. Same with sedimentary rocks. So for the summary, let me have Miss Mary Jean Fire.
So for the summary, so there are 3 types of rocks. Now these are the igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. And so igneous rock, the formation of igneous rocks is made of minerals that form from the cooling and hardening of magma. So na 2 types, katong plutonic and volcanic rocks. And sa cooling rate, if it cools slowly, ang tawag niya kay mga coarse-grained igneous rocks. And if it cools quickly, is fine-grained igneous rocks. Ano siya? Sa fine-grained kay mo siya, example katong mga obsidian rock. And the characteristics of igneous rocks can have tightly interlocking crystals and possess a distinctive texture and mineral composition. So that is for the igneous rocks. Next, for the sedimentary rocks, is composed of compacted or cemented sediments. So katong mga particles nga gi-break sa weathering itong mga rock particles, so mo-undergo mahimo silang mga sediments, so they will be compacted and cemented, so mahimo silang mga sedimentary rock. So formed by of physical and chemical, so for example katong weathering, and may include the remains of plants and animals. So some sediments are left behind by the evaporation of water. Next one, for the metamorphic rocks, is formed when one type of rock changes to another. So ato sedimentary, if mo undergo if ma-expose siya sa high pressure and temperature, mahimo siya metamorphic, same with the igneous rocks. And the material that makes up rocks, so and the amount of heat, pressure, and chemical activity applied. So muna siyang ang mga sedimentary o igneous, mahimo silang metamorphic rocks. So katong ingon ni Miss Marian, wala gipili ang metamorphic rocks, mas sedimentary man siya or ma-igneous rock. So for the rock cycle, ano siya no, from first sa igneous rock, mugawas siya as lava, if makuna ang lava, so undergo siya weathering, and ang weathering is breaking down of rocks into smaller particles, so to undergo erosion or runoff, so madala siya, mawash away siya into the bodies of, mapunta siya into the bodies of water, and eventually kato sila is mahimo silang sediments, they will be compacted and pressed, making them as sedimentary rocks. Ang upang mga sedimentary rocks, ma-undergo sila o plate tectonic para mumalik sila and ma-expose sila sa weathering and erosion. If a sedimentary rock ma-expose siya sa higher pressure and temperatures, mahimo sila metamorphic rocks. Same kani, pwede sila mabalik sa surface by the plate tectonic. And now, ang uban ng mga metamorphic rock, if ma-reach na sila of 800 degrees Celsius, so mo-start na sila of melt. Now, they will become magma, or if mubuto na po ng volcano, mahimo sila lava, and the cycle restarts. And kani dili, diba, nanantay mga tectonic rock. Kato sila, if mubu sila o mo-harden, so mahimo silang example kato, granite. So if if katong granite, if ma-expose siya sa high pressure and temperature, mahimo dyan po silang metamorphic rock. So is that clear, everyone? So, for your oral participation, no, let's pala itong lista, Marian. So, pag-oral tanong, what are the 3 types of rocks, and give one example. So give one type and one example. And Mr. Gandan, one type of rock and one example.
Usa lang.
Yes.
Sa metamorphic, granite.
Granite, yes. Correct. Granite, metamorphic. Granite. Igneous. Yes. Granite, yes. Yes, Mr. Cablanca. Mana ang igneous?
Sedimentary rocks ay
Mga mapunta siya sa ocean floor.
Bago siya sa magigo siya o compact sedimentation form na sedimentary rocks.
Last one sa metamorphic.
Metamorphic kay Nis.
Yes, that's nice. Very good. So, now what is the difference between igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks? The difference, Mr. Dandan.
So igneous comes from magma. Cold na siya kung isang cold siya. So through weathering and erosion, so may isang sediments. Then sediments, so pila ka million of years, may isang sedimentary rocks. Then sedimentary rocks, if undergo siya high pressure and temperature, so may siya metamorphic. Then metamorphic is pwede siya mahimo siya kini mubalik siya into igneous, go through kini tectonic movement. Kaya ka metamorphic, ma-undergo siya of high temperature and temperature, so balik siya melt, then mo-freeze up siya, so may mga siya igneous rock.
Yes, correct. So di ba nino, ang igneous rock ay from magma or lava, ang sedimentary from the sediments, no, katong mga sediments, ang kaning metamorphic, pwede siya from igneous or from the sedimentary rock. So, let's have an assessment. We will be, makatag na may og test paper. So please keep your notes. Yan, napatay tayo. Umain pa man. Dali naman nilo, we will give you 20 minutes to answer. Wala na, wala na. 1 to 10 multiple choice. Yan, duwa kayo save. Ay, bako.
Please keep in mind, yan, nag-video ba niya?
Yes, ma-end at exactly 2:30.
Kira na yun.
Hindi na tayo.
Pero,
Kira na yun.
Sabi lang sa kapal.
please keep in mind, the video is still on.
Nabigyan na erasure.
Kaya na erasure. 27. And for the essay, wala na siya limit. Pwede. Naka-limit?
Maximum of 5.
Maximum of 5. 5 ra, ilan na pada, ilan na yung tako na yun. Patas eh. Okay, so Virgil will check.
5. Iwan kita. Sakto ba? Sige. Ano? Oran? Sakto ba? Marina? Oran. Wala. Di ba nagkatas? Gusto mo nagkatas? Sirip. Kung mga nag-lisod sa number 1 ba, nganong why less likely man ang igneous nga wala siya na fossils kaysa sa sedimentary. Nganong maka-form og fossils ang sedimentary kaysa sa igneous. Mga siya kuan nga form, simplest form. Number 1. Basta na naglisod ba? Naglisod mo sa question? Sorry. Oh. Silver today, uy. Differentiate. Sa number 2, differentiate ninyo. Unsa to ang contact? It's either iyahang formation, as siya hitabo, na unsa to. Ito, pwede ra po butang yung tanan. Pwede ra po usa, 1 point lang. Chares.
3 points.
5.
540.
Ha? Dili 5 Uy, dili saan? Kansi sad mo na. Pwede na pass. Hindi sa'yo manapas. Kung
Wala. Charos. Na honor student. Nagsisirang. Baka maningin mo na. Ikin mo siya. Wala tayo. Okay lang. Tignan dyan. Pag-igis. Hindi naman yung siya. Nag-eat. Mas nag-eat.
Ang video pa sa likod.
Ha?
Wala pa may video sa likod.
Napa? Prito ka na. Sakit ako. Kuman? Kadod ka rin eh. Mana imong phone o gamit?
Basta gusto mong phone class. Mag-search ka dyan. Iwan sa day. What is it? Wala kay load. Oh my God. Kapur. Ganyan na lang eh. English na basa.